Yes, New York City, Brooklyn, Dumbo, stand up. Yes, New York City, you are listening to a B-Box here. This is DVR, the best kept secret in the city. I'm your host, your captain, Z-Motion, man. How's everybody doing out there today? Yes, we are back in the studio. It's been about 3 weeks, man, since we've been in here, man. I was away, man, but I'm so happy to be back in here, man. How you guys doing today? Like I said, we are back in here. So yeah, it took me some time to get my boy in here, man. If you're a dancer in the city, even if you knew old school, man, you know what a man is, man. You go way back. When I went way back, I'm talking by early 2000. I met Yahya probably around 2004, 2005, man. Just in the club scene in the city, man. From battle to the street to the clubs, you would not miss him on the dance floor, man. He was everywhere. That dude always holding the dance floor down, man. New York City, I want you to welcome the one and only, man. Hating New York City, man. Born, man. Not living overseas, man. My boy Yahya, he on B-Box, man. Welcome to B-Box. How you doing, King?
The pleasure is mine. The pleasure is mine. How are you doing, King?
I'm all right, man. I'm so happy to have you in here, bro. We talked about this for years, man. Years, man. So you don't live here no more, man. But introduce yourself briefly. A lot of people actually will listen to the show, they music lovers or dancers. So a lot of them know you, but some of them don't. But just briefly.
Well, my name is Yahya. I am from Harlem, New York.
Yes, sir.
I grew up a street performer. I got my early roots with Quick and Rockefeller.
Shout out to Quick and Rock, man. And this coming Thursday, man, if you guys are plans, if you don't, man, the place to be is Bogart Heart, man. They going over there with their monthly. I'm gonna be there myself, man. And of course, Miss Kim Austria also gonna be in the head. We're gonna be there as well,
We turning up. We turning up.
You do not want to miss that, man.
And that's why I am in complete salute of my brother and what he's doing.
I appreciate you, King. I appreciate you, King. You say we came from a different time, man. We came from a different time, man. So we had to do it this way. That's the only way we knew how to, man. I appreciate everybody. They tuned in over here. People on social media, you guys on IG, man. I appreciate you sticking around. And we were not here for almost a month, so we're happy to be back, man. I see Maria there. I see my boy Boogie over there. Gigi, everybody's in there, man. I appreciate you guys stopping by, man. So yeah, man. Welcome back home, man. So you now live in Austria, if I believe, what I mean. So tell us, we're gonna go way back first, how was? Tell us a bit about your New York City experience before you even move out there,
Moving out there was a complete. I didn't expect it. I didn't want to do it.
Okay.
It wasn't in the nearest foresight.
Okay.
I was in a relationship and I did get married.
Okay.
And while we were married, we took a honeymoon, and this is when I guess the blessing in disguise happened, because it just seemed chaotic. My wife's visa was banned. She had to return back to Austria directly from Cuba. We chose to go to Cuba. We're still in between what was the trigger that caused her a visa to be stopped or revoked.
I see.
But that caused me to move over there, being that I just got married. We actually got married in Bogart House.
Okay.
I'm in a new relationship, and I need to support this relationship, or else I'm going to have another failed relationship.
I hear you.
People know I went through the gamut of just learning who I am and what I would like, and this and in that case may be. So it was hard for me at the same time, because at that time I was also mending my relationship with Brooklyn Zoo and Bogart House.
We're going to talk about that as well.
Yeah, we're going to get all of that. So I had to just jump and just do it. I had to say, forget this work that I would love to do, because I don't like to do other forms of work. And I just jumped over for some visa issues, and then it ended up being a blessing in disguise. It was not an easy road. The first 1-2 months, close to a year, I don't speak German. I ain't got no friends. They stare at you weird. I'm looking at my wife like, yo, sweetie,
what am I doing here?
Yeah, I'm out. I don't know if I can do this shit. But then it started to turn around, and that's one of the things that it was a slow progression to see a blessing in disguise when you're going through so much pain.
Yeah, that's what's up, man. So yes, I'm happy to see you home there. Like I said, you don't really come back home a lot, man. So if I was to ask you about the dance scene, NYC, back in the days, because a lot of people don't really know. A lot of younger cats nowadays, they don't really know how was the scene back then, man. Just give me a little glimpse, a little taste.
If I had to give you a glimpse, man, I was a full-on addict.
Absolutely.
Meaning dance releases so much positive energy within you. Your serotonin,
Absolutely.
your dopamine.
Yes.
It keeps you young.
Yes.
It keeps you feeling good. It's
Yep.
almost like a dope fiend that's just always feeling good, always going back to feel good, and you feel good again and feel good again.
Yep.
I was like that every day for every fucking party because I would have so much goddamn fun. It was just too hard. I knew all these street dances. I knew how to connect and become a social butterfly.
Yeah.
It was the easiest passage to meet people and connect and become friends.
Mhm.
And the dance scene back then was every single day.
And that's a fact.
Monday you hit Cielo for
Yep.
Francois K or
Yep.
something like that. Tuesday you can hit Tony Touch for Toga Tuesdays.
Yep.
Wednesday, you know what I'm saying? You had what was that, Little Louis Vega and all
Yep,
that. Also you
yeah.
had Little LeBain. I used to bounce back and forth.
Mhm.
Thursday you can catch a libation party.
Mhm.
And I don't even need to get
Soulgasm.
to the weekend. Soulgasm. As soon as you get to the weekend, you already know what's up at the weekend, and the shit would just fucking rip like, boy.
Shelter.
And then
Like,
shelter. You
Mhm.
had to fight. You had to actually make a decision. Which party is gonna make me feel happier?
I feel it. For real, though. For real. Like,
It was a struggle.
And then, like, one thing I was also telling people there, like, we really went to the club back then just to actually dance. Like, I remember back then for me, I would come to the club with like 4 or 5 t-shirts. So, cause I'm a sweaty dude, man. So, like, you know what I mean? So once I sweat a lot, I would take that t-shirt, put it in a bag, plastic bag, and switch. Once those 5 were sweat, now I knew I did my job. I can get out of here.
That's how you knew. That's how you knew the real ones. The real ones would come with multiple shirts.
Yep.
They ain't come on. Yes, you can socialize and connect and meet people, but the real ones that came to just sweat therapy, you knew it. They came in there with a couple shirts because they knew what was up.
Yep, for real though.
Oh, they brought that baby powder or something like that.
Oh man, the good old days, man. Like, actually, I was telling you, like, when people like yourself left New York, people don't understand that, like, when you say you were like an addict to it, it's like every time you get somewhere on the dance floor, Yahya's gonna be there. Like, you know what I mean? And once it's on the floor, like, you got a unique movement. Like, you know what I mean? And once you hit that floor, people know that the party's shit is lit.
It's up.
It's on. It's up. Like, you know what I mean?
But
It's like,
that's what I loved and learned to respect about, like, everybody has a unique movement,
Yeah.
but it's hard for people to find their unique movement and be confident with that shit.
exactly.
And then once you find your unique movement and become confident with it, and then you see people actually like it and appreciate it,
Because you're just being you.
you just being you, and then that's when you just hit like the Goldilocks zone
Yep.
of your movement and just want to do it more because you're not trying.
You're just doing you.
You
Absolutely.
just say, yo, this is what the music's telling me to do. And
So,
people like that shit.
Absolutely.
Oh, man. So that's when you hit those levels of addiction.
So if I'm taking you a little bit back, man, like, if you tell us, like, how did you get into dancing in the city? Just to begin, for those, like, we jumped ship a little bit, but I want to know, like, the mentors in the city, people who got you into, like, into breaking or even just like capoeira, like you mentioned.
My real mentors that got me into real movement arts was my family, my cousin Mamadou, who was like a supreme capoeirista and a b-boy at the same time.
Okay.
I had a sister that knew Pee Wee Dance from Rocksteady Crew, and she pointed me in directions when they had practices up at Hunts Point in the Bronx.
Yeah.
I was also in junior high school, and then capoeira wasn't the coolest thing to do, and breaking was around that time in the 90s, and then it was easy to transition some of this acrobatics and art flipping into the breaking, and then I easily connected with a community that again brought me back to Hunts Point. And then when I would be with these same friends, you know what I'm saying, we want to hang out on the weekend, we're going to Times Square. What do you see down there? All the hitters.
Yep.
So if you're with your friends, you go downstairs, downtown, and you see all the hitters, and you know how to do a few moves, and you see them making some money with it, they're going to kind of hype you up a little bit.
Yeah.
I remember my first time going out, it was my man Peter, and this was against Breeze team. It was
Oh
my
man,
Crack,
shout out to the Breeze team, man.
Shout out
Like,
to the Breeze team.
B-Town finest, man. All day, every day.
Ain't
The
no
whole
respect,
team,
man.
Mamra, like, they know what.
Rude boy,
Rude boy.
nice. All of J-Day, shout out to all
Jenny,
of them.
man, like, I have not seen him in so long. Yeah, they still hold B-Town down, man.
And still
get down. OGs.
If you don't know who they are, these original KRS-One dancers.
Facts.
Hard.
Really.
Yo, I was with a group of friends. They downtown. They was in front of the 1515 where the MTV used to be at.
Yeah.
And my friends was hyping me up. Yo, go show man, you know what I'm saying? You know that flip. They put me up against Crack. I don't know if you know who Crack
shit,
is.
Crack, shout out to Yeah. Nah. Crack, man. I hope he's
shout
yo,
to Crack.
man.
Yo,
Shout
I hear
out to
shit-
Crack,
mad
man.
shit
Still
is
gets
going-
down.
Yeah, still gets down.
Still gets
and
down,
I
yeah.
hear mad shit is going good for him. I saw on Facebook he could just caught a new crib, caught a
Yep.
nice little job,
Yeah.
everything. Shout to Crack.
Yep.
But Crack put it on me, B. I still showed out, but the next round, Crack put it on me because what blew my mind about them, and I was being trained. I went to a circus art school
Yeah.
up in Spanish Harlem, but what blew my mind about them was they was doing all that shit on
the concrete.
There you go.
On concrete,
Yo,
man.
bro.
Yes,
So
sir.
he
A lot of people don't realize
Nah,
it's not that nice floor. Ain't nothing smooth about a concrete, man.
ain't nothing. Like, it's unforgiving. You make one mistake.
Oh
and
yeah, you paying
done.
for it.
So I remember I did whatever, something crazy, did something nice, and then the next round, my G Crack threw a full twist on me on hard concrete.
On hard concrete.
And I was just like, oh my dude. And then at the same, it was weird because I felt defeated because again, I didn't know nobody,
Yeah.
everybody watching.
Yep.
But then right after it, Crack and a few other people was like, yo, you nice, B. Yo, you can come downtown and get some money with us. And he did it. So they initially offered me to come downtown.
Yeah.
And then that's when I started meeting other crews.
Yep.
MBS,
Mhm.
Muggs, man, me,
Shout out to
Number
Muggs.
Skills.
Yeah, man.
You know, we-
TV, Zone
man.
TDK, man.
See, all day. And then we
Yep.
get over there to Flow Committee.
Oh
My
man, that's my
Wayne,
family right there, man. Those are
man.
the people that brought me out.
Those
John
are-
Ridge, all of them,
John
man.
Ridge, come on.
Yes, sir.
And then to see him in Cielo document and everything.
I
Those
am
videos
still.
he got are wild, valuable at this point.
Absolutely, like he got a lot of footage out of
That's
many
straight
people don't.
stock footage that nobody
I-
could get.
I
That's
definitely know
a
that.
time in a period that is no longer. You know, John, I hope you know you got wild, crazy,
Like
beautiful
really though,
stock
like
footage.
really
Shout
Float
to
Master,
John
man.
Ridge.
That's my OG right there, man. That's my OG, man. Yep.
But that was the exposure, and then having this group of different street performers, different thing. Like New York at that time for me, it was just like a pleasure land. Everywhere, especially when you have these skills, you just come here and dance, sweat, do this, learn. Like it was a complete pleasure land. After we finished, I would make some money on the street. I had a pocket full of cash. It's time to run downtown to some club or some shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
It would look crazy. I would have like 200, 300 singles. But
It is cash. Shit.
and you know what I'm saying? Nothing feel better than, you know what I'm saying, when you can take care of your own hunger
Exactly.
at 17, 18 years old and
Yep.
you're learning this new skill. That shit gonna continue, and it's really, really hard to break out of that because of the feeling, the addiction, and the money, and then you just know you can go downtown and get it real quick.
Yep. Like really though. Those who don't know about that life, man, like, you know, shout out to all the healers out there, man, like, you know, still doing it, man, like, you know, day, rain or shine.
You know what's a funny thing too I noticed? It's only in NYC where it's called hitting.
Yep.
They call that shit busting.
Busting,
everywhere
yep,
else.
yep,
And I
really,
was like,
yep.
how is this? Why did this come about? And I remember posing the question, and Clown and a few other people got into it.
Mhm.
But it's strictly a NYC breakdancer type thing.
Like really though, like
Yeah.
for real, like, you know, other people do it, but they ain't got it like anywhere. I even remember the first time that, like, when we
Going
took
ahead.
it to, when we took it places there, like, you know, you took it to, let's say, Vegas and stuff there. You see what they doing over there, like, no, that's not it, guys. You ain't got it.
And they follow. I've been in London. I've been in Amsterdam, and I'm walking around and I see a street show. It would blow my mind to see them do the same routines, and then I would watch it and talk to them, and then turns out, yo, I used to hit with Zone. Yo,
Oh
I
yeah,
used to
they
hit
came
with
over
this
here and
person.
learned and took it out there. Of course, that's
And then when I
that's smart.
saw them and we had that connection and I knew these dudes,
Yeah.
the city was mine. They would offer me the city.
Nice.
Yo, he's from me. What do you want to do? Yo, he used to hit with Zone. Yo, if you want to go over here, yo, what you need? Yo, if you want to please find some weed. It would just be anything that I would ever inquire about. It would set me straight. Even to the point where I was in South America, I started to break dance somewhere, and it would just open the gates. Nobody knew me, and then everybody knew me.
Fact.
It was that language
That's-
that if you speak it authentically, like we do, no matter what, all you got to see is one circle and people dancing, and you good.
And that's one thing about dancing, actually, just like as you mentioned, even when you go to Austria, I'm sure when people before people met you and see what you could do, they probably not being friendly to you. But the moment they see you hit that floor,
Oh, yeah.
you got 1,000 friends.
Oh yeah, it opens up.
I can
Because
get to Germany. I've been to Germany actually before I went on tour there for the first time, and all I knew about Germany was from books and movies and all that. But Germany, to me, I had an amazing time. Like people everywhere we went, we were very welcome.
Yeah,
Because once we hit that floor, people just connect to you differently.
you know what it is? It's funny because they always be putting these messages in music. And you heard the same message in music. I think Al Green said it in one of them songs, Get Down, Get Loose, something.
Yeah.
If you standing on the wall, ain't nobody gonna talk to you.
Fact.
If you moving around, and it just makes you look good, it makes you approachable, it makes you friendly, it makes someone says, I don't feel too crazy saying hi to this person, because if he dancing, he doesn't feel like in his head that he wants to kill me or murder me or some shit.
Yep.
He is having self-enjoyment type happy. So just moving opens you up, and it changes your energy, and it makes people want to talk to you, especially when you're fucking good.
I am. Absolutely, yo, my boy will hit a 90 on the concrete. For those who know that move, man, he was hitting a 90. We were in the forest, bro. Yo, we were doing a video shoot. I was like, how, like, in the forest, man, he hit the 90. For those out there who remember, man, like, you know what I mean? These men right here, legendary, man, for real.
I'll tell you how it became, and I started to see what was possible. I would see dudes like, and he wasn't even a hitter like that, but I would see him like break nice in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
Be with no shirt, throwing windmills on concrete, and I'm like, how is this possible? And then it's a lot of things that's in your mind that you just see, just like with any circus art. If you do a few repetitions of it, it's possible. It's very easy. And that's the magic and the trick, and then that's how you can start getting paid off and stuff like that. But yeah, that was a move that I was able to catch and get really good because of the gymnastic training, and that gave me a good handstand.
Yeah, totally.
And when I saw that, because that wasn't a gymnastic move.
But it's not only that too. It's like, you know, when people remember how tall you are, like, you know what I mean, when they come to flipping in the city, you're one of the top. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you can ask like 100 dancers in the city, they got trained flipping by Yahya.
Yeah, that's
like, everybody who went to the zoo back then, I knew I got my training from you. Like, back then, the flipping, it was all Yahya. Back then, there was no, like, you know, if you were not taking you to the gym, he'll get you on the grass somewhere there, like, you know, and get the work in. Well, and you also took that overseas as well. Yeah,
let me actually touch on that, because that was interesting. I had the circus training and acrobatic training from my school, but I was also a part of a program that was downtown in a place called The Door.
Okay.
And The Door, we had a teacher named Rusty who volunteered his free time to teach adolescent kids from bad areas, a skill. And he would come there Tuesdays and Thursdays and just clean us up.
Nice.
And then that training, I didn't realize that, I mean, how valuable this teacher was, because when I would, do like an audition or something like that, some of the other gymnasts would be like, yo, where'd you train at? Like, and we used to train on just a straight wrestling mat.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize how good of a teacher I had until I started to compete and be around other gymnasts. And they'd be like, first of all, you're supposed to be with fucking basketball. You're too goddamn tall. And then on top of that, all right.
Yeah, most gymnasts, they definitely short. Yeah,
they short.
Yeah, most gymnasts, everybody that you see on TV, they're midgets.
I had a gymnastic teacher that wasn't my teacher, saw me practicing flares, and he was like, listen, you are too tall for that move, unfortunately. Broke my heart at the same time, but then at the same time, I didn't realize that if you tell me a message like that, I'm gonna be like, yo, F you, I'm gonna be like, F you, I'm gonna prove you something. And then it just started to break anything that anyone can actually tell me if I really had focus on it. And like I said, it turned out that also I didn't realize at the same time, turned out, and this is why some of the performance stuff ended up happening, is because I didn't know initially that I had a good stage presence.
Yeah.
Because if I was tall or this, I wasn't thinking like that. I was thinking internally. And then now when it came to auditions and things of that nature, it started to work that way. Like currently now I'm living in Vienna. I'm working in Vienna's biggest theater. It's called Book Theater. I work in a production called Central Freithof, which is basically their cemetery. I work as a Totengräber, which is a grave digger, and I'm full on acting. And I do like a little bit of movement, and I trained all the other actors in this production. And this is like book theater. This is like the top theater. This is equivalent to me working in the Met, something like that, in training. So these same avenues and skills that we learn, that we use and do for fun, can branch out to so many different ways.
Absolutely.
And this is why, again, I'm so proud of some of the friends and people that I've had and grew up around, because if you're really about it, you really enjoy this, you really love it, a few years later, you can be a leader in one of those fields without problem. I'm proud of you for what you're doing, of taking the initiative of, yo, I like this, I can do this, I got this little radio station. All of this footage is archived.
Totally.
And then once it's archived, it's valuable because some people need to go back to it and see it again. But and then owning your own content and controlling it, like, it's just a beautiful thing instead of constantly being used for all projects. That's why I'm super happy to come back and do stuff like this and talk and speak and be with my people. Like, this shit feels absolutely great.
Totally. But it also goes like, to me, I also look at myself like we just mentioned John Rich earlier. There's a certain part that the kid who's 15 now, they don't know what was happening like 10, 15 years ago. They were too young for it. So they need to know this. Like, when you see somebody flip on the street today, they were at the zoo. Before the zoo, when I went to a competition in New York City, there was so much lacking. The zoo came and changed it all.
Yo, bro, like, you know the kids that be hitting the subway, Kid the Wiz and all of them?
Yep.
I used to let these guys, I used to get in so much trouble because they would hit on the train and I would see them hitting on the train. And I told them, like, I used to let these little kids in for discounted rates. And now if you look at them now, they all flip mad.
Yep.
Every single bit of that acrobatic, I was bringing these kids into the gym, letting them go crazy. Now it's so intertwined in the light feet dance that it is crazy.
Absolutely.
But it was, I saw me in them. I saw that they wanted to learn something and didn't have enough money to do it. And they wanted to do it. I used to go to Chelsea Piers back when Chelsea Piers you pay like $20-something for a class and they give you like a little colored wristband.
Yeah.
I started to remember what day they did that shit, what day the wristband. So I used to tape that bitch together. And I would go the next day. And then I remember one teacher caught on to it, but he smiled and he didn't tell on me and he let me go through with it and he let me rock for a while. And he was just like, he wants to learn and he can't really pay for it. I fell in love with like people like that because they support it even though they know it's an expensive craft. They're the same thing. I saw kids that want to do it, want to learn it. They can't pay the little fee. How much money you got? You'll go ahead, flip.
That's why I got a similar story with Brian Green. Actually, there was a time that I wanted to take his classes. So I would come over there. He would just see me sitting outside there. He knew I wanted to be in a class, but I couldn't afford to pay it at some point. And then he would just tell me, like, wait till, because in New York City, when you take a class, there's a time where they come and count the heads.
Yeah.
After I head count,
you
just be like, you know what I mean, like that, like it's like.
What studio was that?
Yeah, but he knew BDC, the whole BDC. For those who don't know, I'm not putting on the spot. The place, 57th Street,
above the Hollywood.
So, but back then for him, he just saw somebody wanted to learn, we couldn't afford it. He saw that the same way.
I love that in people. They see it, and honestly, those people that they do that to sometimes end up being the best ones because they thirsty for that shit.
Absolutely. Some people could just afford a class because they had it like that. Some people wanted to be in a class but they couldn't. And I remember like sometimes they had a curtains. Maybe sometimes if I couldn't get in, I could just watch the class and still learn, and then they would drop that curtain. I'm like, damn. I'm like, damn. Now I can't even get on. I can't get none. They really don't want you to get none from this class. But anyway, New York City, man. You guys are listening to a B-Boxer. This is DVR, the best kept secret in the city today. In the studio, the one and only, man, my boy, Yahya, man. Like, you know what I mean? So happy to have you here, man. So, Yahya, I want to know, man, like, you know what I mean? Your transition, I mean, before you even left New York, like I said, the zoo back then for me was a place that I went all the time, and it was youth to me, like, you know what I mean? The zoo kind of represented youth to me. So, like, just break it down what happened with the zoo before you even left there, because I'm sure a lot of people don't know it. They don't know the real.
A lot of people don't know the story behind it, and to be honest, it was a new feeling for everybody.
Okay.
And being that it was a new feeling for everybody, and if a lot of money is involved, it happens in so many different areas. If it's in business, if it's in a music group, it's in a rap group, a singing group, whatever, it just happens over time.
Yeah.
But if I sum it up real short, like, I met the investor for who owned the building of Brooklyn Zoo Bogart House when I was teaching classes at a place called Hollywood Stunts. And long story short, she said that she saw that I was good teaching and I had a passion for teaching. And she made a joke. She was like, you're good at this. You should probably open up your own business or whatever. And I said some old slick shit. I was like, every time I get $1,000, I got to give it to my landlord. I guess she chuckled about that, and then whatever. The relationship continued, and then one day she just said, "I want to show you something." After one of my private classes, now when I was teaching at Chelsea Piers.
Yeah.
So I was like, "What the fuck?" Whatever. So we jump in a car. I didn't think she could pay for my private class. She comes in this minivan, whatever. So she takes me to this facility, 230 Bogart, and it was just an empty warehouse where they used to store vehicles from Burning Man in there.
Okay.
It was just nothing. That's why you have the two big garage gates on the side of Brooklyn.
Yeah.
So she was like, "What do you want to do with it?" I'm like, huh? Like, I didn't know. Basically, I didn't know she owned it. And to sum it all up, we said we can do a gym, we can design it, we can do this. We would like to have a pit. She would have to dig a hole in the ground and all this. And she bit. She said we want to do something different with this building and not just do this and whatever the case may be. So we want to try something different. So I came and I grabbed 2 friends I was working with at Chelsea Piers. I taught the gymnastics. My man Shim and all of them was doing the parkour and the capoeira stuff. And I already had my capoeira family, but whatever, it was skills that you would have to go to multiple facilities to do. If you wanted to do gymnastics, you had to go here. If you wanted to break dance, you had to go here. Yeah. If you wanted to go and trick, you had to go over here. And I said, you know what, I got this opportunity. Let's get it all in one place, and then just bring in the whole community.
Nice.
And again, it's like the 3rd time I say this. Long story short, she bought everything, which was like maybe $150,000. And then in 11 months, and not having no capital, she just bought everything and said, you gotta promote it, you gotta push it, you gotta get some motherfuckers in here and start your classes and see if we can get our money back. In 11 months, me, Shim, and Luciano made $380,000. Now,
beastie.
Any person who is in finance or is around money would look at that investment and say, all right, I put $100K down, and in 11 months I can get damn near $400,000. They're gonna go crazy over it. And that's what also drove us crazy, because we was also able to run it for a year.
Okay.
And then at the same time, we're inside her building. And it's our intellectual. Basically, there was no fight that we could win to stay there.
I see.
Now, in retrospect, I wish I would have had more of the mature mindset that my boy Geronimo took, and says, you know what, we're doing what we like to do. We created something, and we can just stay a manager and a director of this. We are working for a private corporation outside of anything else, and we can do this for the rest of our life and make really good money doing that. That would have been the more mature aspect, but at the same time, me hearing all of this stuff, which is also right. Yo, she's already wealthy, this and that. Or she's not stopping you from being wealthy. And then my other friends splitting. It just drove a whole bunch of wildness in my head, which was also right to go through.
Of course.
If I controlled it and we did all this, I was a sweat equity. We didn't have no promotional money. Like, we would literally go out to the train station at Grand Street handing out flyers and shit like that, like trying to get people to come to this building without them trying to think we was robbing them. And we had to literally open the door and they'd be like, yo, this is great. I remember the first customers we had, it was like,
man.
oh, wow. They literally thought we was trying to rob them. Like, come follow us around this corner. We had to do straight, hard shit to get. Growing up, I wish I had a facility like that that I could go to. So I had to get outside of myself and be bigger than myself and just say, fine, and this is what it is. I should just have chilled and became a director and just ran it, and just like my boy does. We can set up, we can literally do anything that we would like to do in there as it runs and functions as a business. I was married in there. Now at this point, we came together and everything is fine. I was also paid off, and as soon as I got paid, I made sure I bought a home and I secured my future.
Nice.
We are all back completely together, and we can literally do anything that we would like to do. And it did take this long while to hit this point of maturity to be this way. And I love the fact that I'm able to do what I would like to do in New York City and work for a private family that's not a corporation, and I don't have to worry about getting fired or any other craziness. So I'm thankful for that, but at the moment, that's what it was. I wanted to retain ownership of some type of control of the account and not have my salary dictated to me by someone that wasn't of the arts, and just seeing how much it is pulling in.
Exactly. That was also because it was your baby.
It was my baby. It was to the point where when I also moved, it kind of helped me get away from certain situations, just because I would still feel like I need to be paid this much, I need this much, that much, this. And then now, like, we're both good. Geronimo owns his own home. I own my own home. Everything is fine. Donna took care of all of our situations and make sure that we're good. That all we gotta do is just worry and just keep working. And again, it is the hardest thing on planet Earth to find something that you want to do and get paid for it and be able to support yourself.
Absolutely.
That can keep you in an internal space of happiness. Because a lot of people do a lot of shit that they don't want to do for a living.
And that's a fact. And that's a fact, man.
And that's what something I wish I would have had the maturity at that time to just let that go. Take my own money, because bottom line, you can say what you want to say, if you use somebody else's money, they're gonna dictate how you spend it.
Fact. Really?
You can get a silent investor who trusts you at that time, but you probably already have a long history of doing great things that they can just trust you.
Mm-hmm.
When it came to 3 kids, you know, we was like in our 20s going on 30s. You can't spend somebody's money without them having an opinion on what you're doing.
And that's only right. You know what I mean?
Point
That's
blank.
it. That's just how it goes.
If I use somebody $100,000 and it gets me 380, they still got a right to do whatever and say they're gonna come. Like it's just not gonna be that easy. And I wish I had that maturity. But that's the story in a nutshell. I don't know if that was a nutshell, but.
But absolutely. But I'm glad that definitely makes a lot of sense to me now. Like, you know, because like I said to me, like the one thing people do not know, like people like myself, you showed me the zoo before it was the zoo. You showed it to me before even like there was anything inside that you're like, Z, you're gonna do this with this place. It's almost like we bring you here and it's empty, and now you come back here and then all of this is in here. Like, you know what I mean? So that's why like when I went back in there and you were not in there, I was like, this place don't feel good. Do not feel the same without Yahya, man. I don't even feel like coming in here.
I had a lot of people say the same thing. They stopped going because of that, and then they ended up getting some new customers. And then again, I do understand that it's if you know the history of something, if you see a person that you know that you also feel was abused in some type of way, I really don't want to go there to support it if I know it's not also helping out my man or whatever the case may be. So I do get it and understand it. It was, like I said, to go through that whirlwind of emotions is a crazy feeling. Crazy feeling.
I hear you. So now we're going to want a little faster up there. Like I want to see now, like, you know, your first, like, you know, your early days, like, you know, in Vienna, man, like, you know, I mean, Austria, man, like, you know, we just left NY, you are there, man. So you tell us how tough it was in the beginning there, like, you know, just working on everything looked different. People speak a different language, like, you know what I mean? So how did you accommodate it?
It's crazy. It's crazy now that I can actually speak German. Ich kann Deutsch sprechen, ich arbeite mit Schauspielern, ich habe 4 Jahre da, ich habe meine Wohnung verkauft, und alles ist, ich habe Gefühl. I have a super good feeling about everything over there. It was crazy. My first year, I didn't think I was gonna make that shit at all.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't like none of these people. They be staring at me. I remember I went to the club one time. Oh my God, I don't even know if I should tell this story. I went to the first club. Yeah, so I went to. They got a community of dancers and everything, and I went to my first house party out there, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And this is when I see, you know, the bathrooms be crazy. Everybody doing cocaine. It's a little bit techno-ish. And this was when the first time I was about to grab somebody and just kill this motherfucker. I had to go and tell my wife. I was like, yo. She seemed to be breathing hard. She was like, what? I was like, so I went to the bathroom. I'm already bugged out because everybody's smoking cigarettes and doing coke in the bathroom. I need to pee. I'm like, why is these niggas hanging out in here? Ain't no girls in here, and you barely hear the fucking music. What is the point? Nigga, pee and leave. Like, so whatever.
That's exactly, that's the bathroom. That's where
I'm in there peeing, right? And this fucking white dude comes up next to me. I'm peeing at the urinal, and he says to me in perfect English, and he says, what did he say? He says, yo, if I was in the black dudes, I'd be fucking you tonight. So I turns and piss on this nigga leg. And I turn up immediately. Everybody leaves the bathroom because I'm about to break. I started screaming. I just went up on some crazy New York shit.
Yeah.
And then I leave the bathroom and immediately I'm breathing because I'm like, I don't know nobody. So the hairs on my body is standing up. I don't have no friend, no cousin, nobody. So I see my wife and I'm like, yo, I'm gonna bust this right here, and I'm pointing to him. She's like, wow, what happened? I said this. And she's like, oh my fucking God. And then she explains like the dude was too drunk to remember anything. And it was just, for me, it was like, I'm gonna have a problem here if these European white dudes think they can talk to me like that. Because that's not gonna happen. That's not gonna fly. They're gonna find out real quick.
Yeah. New Yorker, man. You can take a New Yorker out of NY, man, but you ain't gonna take New York out of them
real quick. And there's been multiple times that I had to check somebody, and then I hate when I have to check somebody and then they hear you talking like, oh no, you're from the States, everything is cool, this and that, blah 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 blah. But it has actually turned to, again, I can protect myself also with the language. I understand what is being said, and I've also realized that it's more of a talk shit society. They don't touch each other. You touch somebody, you paying their medical bills. I actually worked security when I was first going there and trying to figure myself out.
Yeah.
There was the COVID pandemic. There wasn't no performing, teaching,
Yeah.
nothing. And then I remember the first job I can get was checking motherfuckers' COVID IDs and all this other shit.
Yeah.
And I had also learned there from other security people, like you're security, but you're not. If you touch somebody, even as security, if they drunk and you hurt them, you're paying their bills. And then I realized that it's a society where you can just talk all the shit you want.
Of course.
And they're just waiting for
And
the
get
first
away with
person to make the first hit. So when the police come, you paying their shit.
Nice.
And as a security, they're waiting for sometimes people try to get you to knock them out.
Yeah.
So you can pay their shit. They mad at this motherfucker right here to knock me out. So and then once I realized that, it's like, yo, just talk wild shit to them too. Because I'm from here where you can talk shit, but not too much.
Limits. Yeah.
Somebody gonna put their hands on you.
Yeah.
And if you tell an officer exactly what happened, you may just be okay in that situation.
Yep.
I know New York doesn't have any self-defense laws if it got really, really heavy. But over there, nah. As soon as people see something happen, you going down to the precinct. You going to the precinct to find out who made the first hit. All right, you paying this. And they got there's a few things over there. Like I said, it's just different getting used to. I'm coming from New York. You know what I'm saying? So I'm there. They got this thing. Like it's not they got this thing, but like you can be at a traffic light, and and the traffic light say red, and no cars will be going, and they be sitting there waiting. What the fuck is going on? Like that's weird. None of you motherfuckers ever in a rush. Like, but then I also realized that if you jaywalk and there's a parent there and they have their kid there with them, they get really mad because you're also showing influence for that kid to do something which is wrong, which is to jaywalk, even though there's no cars. It's just showing a system of you shouldn't walk across the street like that because you can potentially get into an accident if something were to happen.
Yeah.
They're very much like that with their biking laws. If you run a red light, you're paying out the pocket right now. I thought the first time my wife got caught running a red light, I thought she bought like this police officer's lunch because he was like 50 euros. I'm like, okay, 50 euros? I'm like, sweetie, are you crazy? And she's like, no. If you don't pay him now, it's worse.
Yeah.
So people will, like, if something happens immediately, one of their infractions upon the law, they take your ass right to the bank. Let's go to the ATM.
Wow.
And if you're in that country and you don't have a valid ID to be there, and you are discovered to have drugs, or they think you have drugs, especially if you come from an African or an Arabic country, they get you out of that country fast.
Wow.
And they know the people who tend to sell that type of stuff due to the immigration statuses.
Yeah.
I've also been approached before. I've had people come up to me. I robbed somebody one time accidentally. Because I'll tell you this one story and we move on. If you say hi to me, if you look at me and shake your head, I'm gonna say hi back. I didn't realize doing that shit over there in Austria is the sign that I got it. So this dude looked at me and was like, shook his head, and I was like, oh shit, what up? So I get up the train station, I'm walking up the train, dude's following behind me, he pulled out 20, 30 euros. I'm like, what the fuck is you doing? And I didn't realize doing that gives them the sign that you got the drugs.
Wow.
So it happened to me 2 or 3 times, and I remember that shit happened to me one more time, and I just took this nigga money. And I was like, go ahead, tell the police then. What you gonna tell me? Give me some money from drugs? All black people don't be selling drugs over
Fact.
there.
Yeah.
Like, and now I'm at a point where somebody looks at me and I can kind of peep the vibe. I just gonna be saying hi back. Because I don't want to deal with this dude. I don't want to take his money, and I don't want to talk to him. And on top of it, if the police are quote unquote checking that station out to make some bust, it's better that you get them fleas off of you real quick so they don't like confuse you with all that type of mess.
I see.
Because you can go to a station where a whole bunch of fiends is waiting for some random black dude, and as soon as they see a black dude, they be on.
You the one.
Yeah, you the one. Don't even know you, and if the police see that, they'll think that, and they just come and get you. So I just learned to really just nip that shit in the bud real quick. Just start screaming on the niggas, man. Mad easy.
I hear that.
Fuck, we got all this shit. And then they
but the one thing too, like, so tell us, like, how you learn the system actually, like, and know how to work with it. Like, that's the one thing about NY there, like, when you live in New York City, you can do, no matter what they send you there, you'll be able to adapt, and like, so tell us how you learn the system there, like, because when I see you now, you're doing a lot of stuff over there, like, you DJing, you teaching your part, you teaching your, like, you're doing it all out there.
It's again, I come from a high addiction place where I can constantly go out and get this gratification.
Mhm.
Over there, I didn't have that. I didn't like the parties there. I didn't want to go out.
So you have to change that.
Yeah, I had to change. I couldn't be drunk and hear music that I don't like.
Yeah.
That would drive me crazy. So it just made me go in, and I would always like DJing because I went to every damn party.
Yep.
I would also like certain sounds of music, so it got me to get into DJing, producing.
Mhm.
I've actually produced and made some tracks. I even worked with another producer. It's like I hear music now, and I'm like thinking of how to produce it now instead
Nice.
of complete enjoyment of how to dance to it.
Dance to it.
I still hear music and be like, oh, I can do this move and that move.
Mhm.
But now I'm also thinking studio wise.
You can break it down.
I can break it down.
Mhm.
And also, I jumped into a Google cybersecurity course,
Nice.
which I just finished.
Yeah.
I have a job lined up back in Austria, working as a pen tester and just basically an ethical hacker for companies, helping them defend their infrastructure.
Mhm.
It was like being around all of this inspiration and then having some sit down time really allowed me to go after all of those things and put some time into it and learn it. And then now at this point, being that I was already a performer,
Mhm.
started to benefit from those. I can get paid from DJing, I can get paid from producing,
Nice.
I can get paid from the cybersecurity stuff. I'm actually getting paid as an actor. I do a lot of acting and dance and acrobatics and teaching jobs, and
Okay.
it just opened up 5 different other channels of being able to get an income.
Absolutely.
Which is that straight New York hustle. I just, now it's like, I can't have something I like and not try to
do it.
learn how to do that shit.
Exactly.
Like, that shit is crazy to me.
Totally.
Because on top of it, you most likely have a really good chance of being good at something you like.
Mhm.
Because you would just keep doing the shit.
Yep.
So, you know, that's what it was. And that's how I started to learn the system, move around, connect with friends, connect with other DJs, get gigs, start my little own outdoor parties, and just start to you know, just become a leader in all of these areas because the
It was not
confidence-
there.
Yeah, it wasn't there, and the confidence is up, and I spent some more time on it, and you know, you can learn a lot. YouTube Academy, it can at least put you on a beginner's path
Mhm.
on anything that you want to learn. It's one of the biggest libraries out there, and if you have enough patience, you can, you know, get some basics and then take it from there.
That's what's up, man. New York City, man. You guys still here on Beatbox, man. G, you are the best kept secret in the city, still in the studio with one and only, man. Like, you know, my boy Yahya, man. So if you do want to call the station, man, the number is 718-577-2855. I'm going to say it again, 718-577-2855. We here till about 9 p.m., man. Like, you know, he'll answer any question that you have, man. Like, so Yahya, I would like to know, so
Anytime.
what's next? What's next? Like, you know, what are you working on? What's, I mean, you got a lot going on, but what's your big plan?
Well, the plans now is being that, you know, this all just kind of happened, especially with this whole financial security thing. I
Yeah.
bought like a $500,000 house overseas.
Mhm.
I'm working in theater. My next job will be in cybersecurity, which pays well. And the next thing that I'm actually working on is, and it's nice that you asked because I've been looking into this. And if you open up, just like open up a checking account or saving, if you open up a small brokerage account,
Mhm.
and every time that you get paid and you put like a little portion on something, it's weird because you can immediately see at the end of each month how much money you can actually earn from small stock investments,
Yes.
which can also give you a huge form of financial freedom, so you can continue to do some of the things that you would like to do without the stress
The
of
burden.
making the money.
Yep.
Like at this point, if I make a $10 extra that I don't need, I can put it
Straight
in a
to it.
brokerage account
Mhm.
and look at it 2 months later and see it made $2 or something like that.
Mhm.
But just the fact that I still have that principle and I just made $2 off of it, it just makes me realize, why do I have a normal checkings and savings account where I rarely ever see it grow? You can put it in a high yield money market account, but you still waiting a certain amount of time. You get a CD and you still waiting a certain amount of time.
Mhm.
You get a brokerage account and just, you know, just start to play with this little app. And if you build up, you know, 15, 20 different stocks and things that you got a nice little portfolio, and you can see like, yo, this is starting to earn money
Mhm.
while my money is sitting up in there. And you can still take your money out. I just wanted to learn how to do more things that I can free up, because I know if you don't have certain things financially, it can really drive you kind of crazy in your
Of
head.
course.
Some people can lose the love of the art of things that they like to do because of certain responsibilities. I'm not saying don't go after. You must handle all your responsibilities, but just having the ability to do something to allow money to grow, especially as a performer. We're known to be at the bottom of the total pump when it comes to, we didn't get in this because we could become millionaires from that. It's very rare.
It's a labor of love.
It's a complete labor of love, and the fact that you like to connect and to share, and you can continually have that same beautiful energy if we all get a little bit of financial freedom, going after some of the things that we like to do and just being behind it. Does put you in a good place. And like I said, we're all leaders. We all came from a school of learning the dope issue. We're actually too dope.
Facts.
We need to take all of that dope energy and stop being dope and then put it into an area that we can just blow up in and get people just to straight come to us and get us all paid. I should see no reason why pioneers and older people that have been doing this and inspired people all around the world should have to struggle.
Really?
They shouldn't.
Really?
If we account all the people that they have actually helped, and that was $5 put into a money market account, and the amount of people, they're all millionaires just from the service and what they do, because you inspired so many people to do so many different things, and everybody's end up connecting to each other. And if I think if we had a little bit of that freedom, that we could just really focus on the art side, and New York wouldn't be so competitive. Because I've always said New York is full of the most beautifully talented people who be all hating each other.
They actually, so like, sometimes the rap look at it, it's almost like no matter what you do, it might be modeling, singing, dancing, whatever you do in the city, there's 100,000 motherfuckers doing the same thing. Like, so that eventually you're gonna create that. Like,
competition be high.
It's there, it's just there. Like,
some
you
of your
cannot,
best friends, it won't tell you about the same audition.
Yeah.
Just because they want to eliminate the competition. They
Of
don't
course.
hate you,
but
they want to get the job.
If you don't show up,
It's the
if
same.
you don't show up, then of course, yeah.
But if you're able to get it yourself, you can still come at any one of these arts with,
Create your own lane.
with happiness.
Mhm.
And it's the same argument when I talk about my Brooklyn Brooklyn Zoo investors. It boils down to the same thing. And if you're all fine and secure in your own, it's more of a pleasure that you all can do, and it's not as stressful.
Absolutely.
And you can have more fun with it, and it's more creative, and
Yeah, man. So another one of my questions there, like, how does it feel for you to come back to the city? Like, because you got a completely different lifestyle, like, so when you get back to the Big Apple, man, tell us what.
I'll be honest, shit is crazy. I'm not saying Vienna changed me, but shit is crazy to see how things have changed. I still do want to live in Vienna.
Yeah.
New York inspires me, but I don't think I can live here. There's a lot of things that just changed that just be messing my head up that I didn't realize.
Yeah.
The other night, this is something called REM sleep. It's like random eye movement sleep. It's like right before you fall asleep, right?
Yeah, okay.
So right before I'm falling asleep, my mind and my body is in, I would say, my house in Austria, my bed. I'm super comfortable.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden, I'm snatched out of that just because I hear the sound of a bus and a car horn.
Yeah.
Like my mom lives right in Amsterdam. I was like,
You're like, wait, what?
And in my house, like, oh shit, I'm at my mom's house.
Yeah, but those things are not normal in New York City.
And that's that's the thing. That
and
it
it's not.
became normal to me.
And it's not.
And then since I got out of it, I'm falling asleep. And as soon as I heard that shit snatch me, it almost made me mad. I was like, what the fuck? Oh, it's a bus. I was like, okay. I mean, to see the abnormal amount of police behavior in 34th Street, 42nd Street, some of the stores closing, the level of mental instability amongst people, and if I want to have a family, it's really hard. It's really hard. I went out the other day to Musica. $20 for a mixed drink.
Yep.
$20 per drink. I bought a beer and it was $15, $16.
I bought a water the other day for $11. Water.
I bought a water at Central Park and it was almost $5. And to have it to be that expensive, and I still have to worry about my safety and still knock out and pay the rent and be like, for the time that I spent over there, I said I would just like to come and visit
And that's about it.
And that's about it. I mean, Friday fucked me up because you know, Vienna or Europe has a really good recycling plan and all this garbage plan. No garbage on the street.
Mm-hmm.
I'm walking up and down the street heading back home, and I remember like, yo, when you pass these big bags of garbage in Harlem,
There's rats and
yeah,
raccoons and
you need to clap or you need to stomp on the floor.
You need to clap.
If you don't, you're gonna be walking and something gonna run right across your leg.
Oh yeah. Oh man.
So I was just like, oh shit, and it was just mad shit that I knew already that I had to get used to, and I was just like, this is kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Another thing, I'm riding my bike. It's a red light, but I'm gonna stop at a red light. And there was a police right there.
Yeah.
So I stopped. The dude on the bike behind me was like, yo, what the fuck you doing? Go. I'm like, what? It's a red light.
It's a red light, yeah.
He's like, psh, and he just moves to the side. And I was like, damn, it just seemed,
that's
for one second, it just seemed like lawlessness.
Yep. It's to me.
And I hate to say that
It's a jungle. There you go. It's a concrete jungle. Like just anything goes, man.
Anything goes.
Wow.
And I can just imagine certain areas where there's not that much police activity. This stuff, like it's. I would say it's not New York City. I think it's every big city. If it's Paris, London, and for me, growing up a city boy, I think I want to live in a city. And Vienna's not as bad, and they do have a really good.
How many people? How many population?
I couldn't even fucking tell you the exact. But I would say it just has a really good metro system.
Okay.
And I don't feel like I live in a place called Simmering, which to me is the ghetto. I live in nothing but like around Arabic and Turkish people, and I'm from Harlem, so it's like the same. It's the same vibe.
Yeah.
I just feel it's better for me at this time for family and everything else that what I like to do, and especially money over there. And being that I'm now taking advantage of leadership roles and things that I grew up liking to do, it's also turning around for me in those ways. So right now it feels like the right time, and anytime I want to sit down and learn some new stuff, I want to be back home and do it. Like my mother and my sister their minds have been blown that I'm fixing everybody's computer, I'm doing this, that, and they're just like, yo, 4 years I couldn't do this. I'm walking down the street, I see a sign that's in German, and I'm like, it's crazy. I feel at home here, but I can read German now.
That's funny.
And like, it's crazy because that home feeling, but now I never understood that, but now I completely understand another language and I can read it. It's just a whole weird full circle type feeling to come back to where you're from and also understand another language and see things and have a different perspective. Living overseas, having a house and owning property over there and then coming back, it's a full on perspective. I love the city for all of its things. I can tell you all the bad things I hate about being over there, especially when it comes to parties and things. That makes New York City what New York is.
Yeah.
Like for one reason I hate, you can play the same song here and the same song there, but as soon as you play it over there, all the people, it's not even reaction, all the people are in huddles and circles themselves talking to each other. Here you play the same song and everybody is facing the music and just doing their own thing, which in turn will make anyone stepping into that environment not feel isolated, like I need to be a part of this group, this group. I can just come and just open up and start to dance. And that's a feeling that apparently you don't get no other place except from New York City and other places. Because you play the same song and it's just not kicking right. I feel like I'm the only person that wants to dance. You know, now I'm dancing, everybody's looking at me like, why are you dancing like that?
That's what
why don't you get a beer or something and talk? Like, I didn't want to come out to talk all like, are y'all crazy?
Yeah.
Do you know the amount of therapy you get from sweating and dancing?
Releasing? What?
You guys don't get it.
Yeah.
No, they just want us to be in groups,
Different
smoke
culture.
these cigarettes and go to the bathroom, do their little cocaine, and that's one of the major differences and with hip hop and with house. You still go out and they just be in huddles and shit.
I see. Yeah, my boy Yahya, man, I would love to sit here and talk to you for the entire show, but I also know you to be like, a fine music lover, man. So we definitely do want you to come over here and share some music with us. Like, we just got half an hour there. Like, you have so much to share. You're still going to be able to come over here and share us, bless us with some music, man. Like, once again, thank you so much for your time here, man. Like, keep doing what you do, man. Like, stay you, man. Like, you definitely come to visit. Like, that's happening soon.
That's a yearly thing. I will always come back, chill and talk. We're gonna hang out and do a few things, and I'll just play a few tracks of music that I'm inspired by. I'm gonna go with some house just because house was always
Of
a
course,
general
that's-
movement. You can just break, you can do anything to it. I still love to play hip hop and everything. I have that, but I'm just give you a couple house tracks that I like and just mix them in whatever like that.
Once
And
again,
appreciate the time, man. This was fun. It's
I
nice
appreciate you being here. I appreciate you coming. I appreciate sharing with us, man. Like, you know, New York City, you got like, you know, stay there, man. Like, you know, you don't want to go nowhere, man, because like he's coming with some heat, man. Like, I'm about to drop one track, and after that, man, he's gonna take over, man. New York City, maybe take me to the wheels, man. Let's get it.
Let's go.